All right, guys, so we're going to talk about how to solve rational equations when they are not proportions. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply everything in this equation by the least common denominator, which means we have to figure out what the least common multiple of the denominator is. So pretty easy to do in most cases, but let's take a look at a pretty simple example and get started. So if we take a look at this one, the least common denominator is going to be 2x. All right, so we're going to multiply everything by 2x. So this whole thing gets multiplied by 2x, and this gets multiplied by 2x, and we do that multiplication out, and we get 7x plus 6 equals 6x. That's right, we cancel out the 2, we cancel out the x in the second term, and then we just multiply that final term times the whole number. We're going to solve this equation, pretty straightforward. Subtract the 6x from both sides, we get 1x. Subtract the 6 from both sides, we get negative 6. And there's our solution, x equals negative 6. And as you saw up here, we have to check for extraneous solutions. So 0 is the only excluded value, not a problem here. We are all set. Our answer is just x equals negative 6. Okay, moving right along. Let's keep this flow going. All right, looking at this second example, we're actually going to modify this one. This one was a typo. This is supposed to be a 1 right here. All right, now we'll go ahead and solve this. We're going to find the least common denominator. That's going to be 7x. So I'll multiply everything on the left here by 7x. Multiply the right side by 7x, and we'll go ahead and solve this out. That's going to give us 3x plus 56 equals 7x. Go ahead, isolate the variable. We get 56 equals 4x, or x equals 14. All right, so we can see this is pretty simple as a technique goes when we have simple rational equations here. But let's take it up a notch, and suddenly we have some binomials mixed in, okay? So this is obviously going to be a little more complicated, but we can still do it. I believe in you. So least common denominator here, we're going to go 2 and then x minus 1. So multiplying everything by 2 times x minus 1, we're going to get 3x minus 1, x minus 1, there we go, plus 2 times 4, and that's going to equal 2 times x plus 1. Everything else canceled out for us, and now we can just go ahead and simplify our expression. So we're going to get 3x minus 3 plus 8, and that's going to equal 2x plus 2. Combine like terms, we get 3x plus 5 equals 2x plus 2. Isolate the variable, solve, we get x equals negative 3. Okay, and double check our extraneous solutions. The only thing we can't have is 1, so we are all set. Let's keep moving on then. Here we go. Making good progress, guys. We can do this. All right. Take a second. Think for yourself. Can you figure out what the least common denominator is? 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you found it. It was 2x times x plus 1. So that's what we're going to multiply this whole expression by. And we're going to get 6x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals 3x plus 1. Okay, so just multiplying that through, and now we're going to get 6x squared minus 5x minus 5 equals 3x plus 3. In this case, you can see there's an x squared term and an x term, so this is going to give us a trinomial, so we have to solve this like a trinomial. So bring everything over to one side of the equation, set it equal to 0. 6x squared minus 8x minus 8, that equals 0. We can see there is a common denominator here. We're going to factor out your 2. That's going to give us 3 x squared minus 4x minus 4 equal to 0. Factor this here. When we factor this, we get 3x plus 2, x minus 2, 0 product property, set each of these terms equal to 0 and solve. We end up with negative 2/3 and 2 as our two solutions. Now, double check. Is that an issue for any of our denominators? No, it's not. So there are no extraneous solutions, and we are set to go. All right, here we go. Keep moving, keep moving. Here we go. Number E here, and we're going to look for what is the least common denominator. This one's pretty easy. It's just x minus 2. That's our least common denominator. That's what we're going to multiply everything by. That gives us 5x equals, and here we go, 5x equals 7 times x minus 2 plus 10. It's nice when it's easy, right? And so now we're going to go ahead and finish solving this off. We're going to distribute that all the way through, simplifying. 5x equals 7x minus 14 plus 10. Combine like terms, we get negative 2x equals negative 4. And so when we solve this out, we get x equals 2. Now, what you're going to see is when we plug 2 back into the equation, we immediately have the issue that we cannot have 0 in the denominator. In this case, this is no solution. Okay, so that means it is the empty set. There is no solution that is possible here. Okay, all right, we got one final example. I'm trying to move through this quickly for you guys, give you as many looks at this as I can, but not waste your time. So, looking for what is going to be our least common denominator. But wait a second, there's stuff to factor in that denominator. So we're going to go ahead and factor it. We know how to do this. 7 over x minus 1 minus 5. That's going to equal 6 over, hey, difference of squares, x plus 1, x minus 1. Now we can look for what's our least common denominator. And in fact, it is that difference of squares. So we're going to multiply the left side, the whole left side, by x plus 1, x minus 1, and do the same thing on the right-hand side, x plus 1, x minus 1. Multiply this through, simplify where we can. We get 7 times x plus 1. We get negative 5 times x plus 1, x minus 1, and that's going to be equal to 6. Now, we'll go ahead and simplify this sum, do our distribution, 7x plus 7 minus 5 times x squared minus 1. That equals 6. Another step of distribution here. 7x plus 7 minus 5x squared plus 5 equals 6. Okay, we have an x squared term and an x term, so we're going to go ahead and set this equal to 0, solving this trinomial. So we're going to get negative 5x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0. Go ahead and pause this if you need to, see if you can factor this for yourself. If not, here we go. So starting off, I'm going to get rid of that negative leading coefficient. It's not going to affect anything, so I'm going to divide the whole thing by negative 1. That gives us 5x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 0. Makes things a little easier. Now when I factor this, I'm going to get 5x plus 3, x minus 2. That's all equal to 0. 0 product property says that I'm going to have negative 3/5 and 2 as my two solutions. Double check, does that cause any problems in our original problem? No, the only excluded values here is 1 and negative 1, so we are all set. Our solutions are negative 3/5 and 2. That's our last example, and now you know how to solve rational equations.